Hello and welcome to the evening news for Wednesday, April 9, 2014. I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. In the headlines, hundreds of sugar workers chase away Moses Nagamutu as they protest for passage of the $6 billion subvention for Gaisuko. And more businessman's body discovered in Lurapentier Cemetery with gunshot wound, slashed throat. Wanted bulletin issued for florist connected to cocaine in pastries bust. Murders, robbery under arms up by 37 and 38%. And the finance minister blisters opposition over narrow-minded budget criticisms. Now for the news in detail. The Fowls East Coast Demerara Auto Spares dealer Rajendra Sunil Singh, who was kidnapped on Saturday evening, was earlier this morning found with his throat slit and a bullet wound to his head in Lurapentier Cemetery. Bisham Mohammed was on the scene and filed this report.
40-year-old Rajendra Singh of Lot 15 Fowls and More East Coast Demerara was discovered with his hands tied behind his back. A piece of rope and a cloth were tied around his neck. His body also bore several marks of violence, which is a clear indication that he was severely beaten. The businessman was clad in a pair of short blue trousers and a blue t-shirt. He was also wearing a pair of black socks with fresh blood stains around his body. He was also tied to an abe tree. Singh was discovered at about 10 hours 15 by a Mayan City Council worker, Jagnarine Parbu.
I come up for line foundation and the water pull from the bed, go there for city water, but he come out and I see the body under the tree. Nothing around to me. I run out here, pick up my bicycle, go to the office and tell the bar.
How was the body? What position?
He lay on the face.
This newscast understands that the kidnapper would have contacted the family on Tuesday morning requesting the $25 million ransom to be dropped off at a certain location. The kidnappers reportedly contacted the family a while later and gave an ultimatum of 12 noon on Tuesday, which they did not meet. Police ranks at the scene this morning said that from all indication, the businessman might have been killed in the wee hours of this morning, noting that his body was still warm and the blood stains were quite fresh. The kidnappers had originally demanded $50 million as a ransom from the relatives for the man's safe return. Other demands for the surveillance footage from the building were also made but not adhered to by the relatives. Police have managed to retrieve the dead businessman's car with the assistance from his wife, which was abandoned on the railway line in the Betavawakting area. Bisham Mohammed, The Evening News.
Hundreds of sugar workers from across Berbice converged in front of the Parliament buildings where they fumed over the opposition's plans to axe the $6 billion allocation to the sugar industry. Alexis Rodney reports.
That was the scene outside the National Assembly earlier today as hundreds of sugar workers from Berbice raised their voices in condemnation of the opposition's plan to slash the allocation to the sector. The crowd went berserk as AFC Member of Parliament Moses Nagamutu tried to calm the fuming sugar workers.
We feel very much disappointed with the stance of the joint opposition take towards sugar. Sugar is very important to us in Berbice. And sugar come from a long way, and since I was 15, I'm working in the sugar industry, and I'm 44 right now. So it's not easy after then, if not to pass the $6 billion that put in by the national budget, by the ruling party, for them to slash it. Because if they slash it, many life is entangled with sugar right now in Berbice. And if that should go, and hear the cry for the past year, we are hearing about the low turnout, and you hear about all these fancy things, but things seem to change now because people try to adapt the rule now because they want a turnaround plan to come on stream so the sugar can come back on the glory days. But you have to allow it for it to run.
Greenwich is one of the person who knows about sugar. He knows what sugar potential is. He knows what sugar done for this country it is. Right? And today he's turning against sugar. They should be committing suicide. They should be ashamed to do that. Because sugar is the backbone for this country. Sugar make all of us come in this country because our foreparents come to work with sugar. Right? And today for we to deny sugar, it is a shame. Right? We should, when this government said that they put in $6 billion in sugar, the opposition should stand firm. They said, no, you're wrong. You should put 16. Because they know what sugar do for this country, do for them.
Since the 16th century, sugar produced in this country. They had levy, some of billions of dollars levied and take from the sugar industry. Why they can't put some money in the sugar industry to develop it? These people are doing nothing in Parliament. These people bring down the industry. They don't want development in this country. Without the industry, nobody can survive. Over 200,000 people depend directly and indirectly from the industry. What these people are doing in Parliament? People are not doing nothing to help the working class of people in this country. We need the sugar industry.
The sugar workers pointed out that the industry has always been the bedrock of the country, especially for residents of Berbice. Should the industry become non-functional, they related, there will be a sure increase in poverty and a further slump in job opportunities. Meanwhile, Agriculture Minister Leslie Ramsamy met with the workers and assured them that he was going to do all he could to represent the industry in the National Assembly.
I say that when Guyana was down, it was sugar in the 1980s that kept Guyana going. And today, we are not looking for a handout. We are looking to continue to build sugar for Guyana. And for Guyanese wherever they live. No Guyana can develop without sugar. And we are here today in our numbers to tell Ramjagan and Granger, don't cut their butter.
Also raising her voice in condemnation was Education Minister Priya Manikchand, who said she feels for the sugar workers.
Comrades, we met last week. Some of you, I know you're here because you came with me. You came and you spoke to me just now and you told me last week. Do you remember what you told me? Raghuveer, where were you? You remember what you told me? You told me, please deliver a message to Carl Greenwich. Tell him to come and deliver to you yourselves the fact that he's going to steal from you and rob you of the ability to feed your family. You remember you told me that? Yes. And I dutifully delivered the message, of course, when I told him he was hiding. So I am glad, my friends, that we could join you here today in your physical bodies so that we could deliver that message ourselves to say, do not be destructive cowards. Do not take away from us our ability to feed our children. Do not take away from us the dignity that we are entitled to know that we could work and get money. And my friends, if they cut the budget and if they take out the $6 billion as they have been promising and threatening to do, then you are without the ability to earn.
For the evening news, I'm Alexis Rodney.
In light of the recent discovery of cocaine in pastries at the Chadijagan International Airport on Sunday evening, the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit issued a wanted bulletin for a well-known florist in connection with the bust. Bishar Mohammed has the details in this report.
38-year-old Royal Anthony Chin, managing director of Bouquet de la France of Rob Street, Georgetown, is now a wanted man. Chin is now being linked with the recent discovery of the 7.5 kilograms of cocaine that was found in pastries at the Chadijagan International Airport on Sunday evening. A senior official at the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit told the Evening News that the man is wanted in connection with that bust. Chin was subsequently asked to report to the Canoes headquarters, but refused to do so. He also refused to cooperate with the law enforcement authorities. The Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit is asking anyone with information about the whereabouts of the florist to make contact with the nearest police station. Meanwhile, Nicholas Harinandanan, 37 of Lot 603, Fort Ordnance, Kanji Berbice, was so far charged with trafficking in narcotics. He was found trying to take 7.5 kilograms of cocaine that was found in pastries. He is expected to make his second court appearance on Monday, April 14, at the Providence Magistrates Court. Bishar Mohammed, The Evening News.
The police are probing an incident which saw two businessmen being robbed while on board their motor vessels at the mouth of the Waini River, Northwest District. The Evening News understands that about 1:30 on Tuesday, businessmen Itram Narain, aged 46, and Kemraj, aged 45, of Port Kaituma, Northwest District, were attacked and robbed by two men, one of whom was armed with a firearm. A statement from the police public relations office explained that the 2 perpetrators came up in another boat, held up the 2 victims and took away a total of $15,800 and their 4 outboard motor engines and escaped. The 2 victims were left adrift and managed to reach ashore at Morowana, Northwest District, last evening. Meanwhile, the police are also investigating an early morning robbery which was committed at Rose Hall Town today, where bandits carted off over $10 million from Pure Mall Trading and Distribution, which is a popular business on the quarantine. Let's find out more in this report.
According to information received, 2 men confronted the businessman while he was about to make a deposit at the Republic Bank in Rose Hall Town and robbed him of $10 million in cash. Reports are that Ravi Mangali, aged 42, of Lot 30 Albion Front, had just exited his vehicle in front of the bank and had leaned over to retrieve the bag containing the cash when he was held up by the 2 men. The incident occurred at approximately 7:15 hours Wednesday morning. A scuffle ensued after Mangali held onto the bag. One of the bandits, who was armed with a gun, had fired a shot in his direction, forcing him to let go of the money. The bandits reportedly jumped on the motorcycle and sped away. Pure Malls Trading and Distribution is a family-owned business entity and has been in existence for over 50 years. Speaking with the Evening News, an eyewitness said that the incident has left her in a state of shock. Reports are that about 20 police ranks in 2 vehicles gave chase and followed the 2 bandits about 3 miles into the Port Morant backlands. However, the bandits abandoned the motorcycle and got away. Police continued to give chase on foot, but apparently the area was well known to the bandits, who managed to elude police. Up to press time, police ranks were still hunting for the 2 armed men that are said to be dangerous and have intensified their presence in the area.
The Guyana Police Force, in a release issued today, said that there has been a 37% increase in the number of murders for 2014 when compared to the same period, January to April 2013. So far for the year, there were 37 murders across the country, while last year recorded 27 for the same period. In the release, it was also stated that reports of robberies have spiked by 38% for the first quarter of 2014. With regards to traffic incidents, the statistics were the same in comparison to last year, with 28 fatalities from 26 reported vehicular accidents. On a lighter note, it was related that there was an overall 3% decrease in the number of serious crimes across the board. Recently appointed Cuban ambassador to Guyana, Julio Cesar Gonzalez Marchante, says that the Cuban government is looking to strengthen relations with Guyana through several major projects. More in this report. Several major projects are in the process of being developed as Cuba looks to strengthen bilateral relations with Guyana. This is according to the Cuban ambassador to Guyana, Julio Cesar Gonzalez Marchante, who related that one of the planned projects would see works being done in the fishing industry.
We have many areas in which we can cooperate. For example, we have proposed to the Caribbean community 9 projects that have to deal with, for example, the creation of a training center for youth and children with special educational needs associated with disabilities, and Guyana even was very interested, and any other country from the Caribbean area, to promote this kind of project. We also have a group of projects in regard with the constructions, to build bridges, dams, and many other ones. There is another project related with the development of the fishing in the area, not only in Guyana. So we are working in many areas.
The ambassador also lauded the 2 governments for being able to maintain such strong bilateral relations over the years, especially in the area of medicine.
We are very happy to work in this country because we have developed a very friendly historical relations with the governments and the people of Guyana. We have a very long history of cooperation with this country, and then we are very happy to continue to develop this relation. Nowadays, for example, in the area of health, we have 165 Cuban doctors, other personnel working in the area of health. We have another cooperators in the area of sports, and we have been working in other sectors in order to develop our 2 countries. So I believe that one of the main issues and one of the main purposes of our work in the country is to continue to develop the good relation that we have, to continue sharing the common interests that we have, We avail the opportunity to thank the government and people of Guyana, the support that they have given us in many multilateral issues.
He further maintained that through the bilateral relations, a lot of projects have been accomplished with mutual benefits to both nations.
We have been cooperating in many other issues. CELAC, this is the Community of Latin American Caribbean States that Cuba was presiding temporarily in 2013. We have a very close cooperation. The President and the delegation participated in the summit that was held in January of this year. And they were very important document and result of this new community created, that, for example, trying to promote a zone of peace in the country, and Guyana is developing a very important role in that.
Join us after the break when you'll hear that Finance Minister Dr. Ashni Singh sends strong message to the opposition budget critics. This is the Evening News Station. Welcome back. This is the Evening News on TVG. In this report, you'll hear that amidst call for adequate protection of witnesses in criminal matters here, government on Monday announced that it will be tabling bills to deal with the issue this year. More in this report.
Protection for state witnesses in criminal matters has come into sharper focus following the collapse of several high-profile murder cases owing to the lack of witnesses. Also, the state's decision to use a man who confessed to being in the Fine Man gang that executed 11 people at Lusignan back in 2008 as a witness had also sparked debate in the public. Speaking during his budget presentation on Monday, Attorney General Anil Nandlal said government will table approximately 6 bills before the National Assembly for 2004, including the Justice Protection Bill and the Whistleblowers Protection Bill. In addition, he said the administration will table the Juvenile Justice Bill, the Bail Act Bill, and the Anti-Gang Bill. It was explained that the Juvenile Justice Bill is being crafted to repeal the Juvenile Offenders Act Chapter 1003 and the Training Schools Act Chapter 1106. The bill is expected to clarify the law as it relates to juveniles who commit offences, combining all related laws in one accessible statutory instrument regarding procedures and processes in that document. On the other hand, the Bail Act Bill seeks to provide for the release from custody accused persons in criminal proceedings. The Anti-Gang Bill proposes to provide for the prosecution of persons who participate in gangs. Similarly, the Justice Protection Bill is being designed to provide the necessary protection after serving as a witness. This will be under a strategized program.
The consultations to which I have made reference lay blame at the jury system as well as other factors. The statistics are indeed staggering. I think it is important that I share them with this House. They reveal another factor also, the refusal of victims of this type of crime to testify in the courts.
The Whistleblowers Protection Bill will also provide for the procedure by which persons in both private and public sectors may, in the public interest, disclose information that relates to irregular, illegal, or corrupt practices. The bill will protect persons against victimization of persons who make such disclosures.
The Alliance for Change leader and Member of Parliament Kemraj Ramjatan told the National Assembly on Monday evening that the 2014 national budget possesses several flaws and the opposition has the scissors ready to cut. Let's find out more in this report.
Alliance for Change Member of Parliament Kemraj Ramjatan says his party has found several discrepancies in the 2014 national budget presented by Finance Minister Dr. Ashni Singh. He said that the ruling party has hijacked the consolidated fund and was guilty of misusing it.
Monies are being hived off into certain accounts that belong, Mr. Speaker, to certain statutory agencies, statutory bodies, and I would like to quote them. The Guyana Forestry Commission, and at page 597, one is going to see this, their balances as of 31st December 2013 total some $1,034 million. That was never put in the consolidated fund.
He promised that the opposition will not be giving in easy and will demand that the consolidated funds transfers be made in a transparent manner before the budget can move forward, as the country did not possess a parallel treasury. For the Evening News, I'm Gomati Gangadin.
Loud verbal clashes and arguments between ministers of the government and members of the opposition last evening formed the ultimate showdown in the National Assembly as Finance Minister Dr. Ashni Singh brought the curtains down on the 2014 budget debates. Let's join Alexis Rodney.
The two sides of the parliamentary divide sought to drown out each other with constant table banging while words flew across the room. The loud chants of the same old PPP emanated from the opposition benches as they raised their voices in condemnation of the budget estimates. But the loud clamoring faded as Minister Singh put into perspective the failure of the opposition to fulfill the promises made in his 2014 manifesto. He reminded that this year's budget was crafted with the needs of the Guyanese populace in mind.
Mr. Speaker, Budget 2014 represents the latest installment of responsible policy by this PPP civic government. Whether it is the purchase of uniforms for children at school, or the payment of a cash grant to parents, whether it is the construction of a new hospital, whether it is the construction of a fiber optic cable to attract investors to create new jobs, whether it is responsible management of the macroeconomy to ensure that investors coming into Guyana do not have to worry about exchange rate stability or interest rate stability or domestic price stability or domestic wage volatility. This government, sir, has demonstrated a track record of taking Guyana in the right direction.
Finance Minister went back in time, rehashing the work of the People's National Congress in 1992. The minister noted that the people of Guyana do not have to look far to see that it is the same old PNC from yesteryear that has caused the major challenges the country is currently experiencing.
We did not have to change our name from PNC to APNU to deceive the people of Guyana. You are not. The opposition, sir, the leader of the opposition would have us believe, sir, that if you change the color of your tie or the style of your shirt, that if perhaps you change your name and disguise and hide behind the flimsy negligee of a new name, that somehow you will not be the same old. On the contrary, sir, what we have before us, even if they call themselves the APNU, is the same old PNC.
Many of Dr. Singh's attacks were directed to Shadow Finance Minister Carl Greenidge, who on each occasion flared up in his own defense. The minister said the party had been clamoring about not being consulted on the budget, but was offered that opportunity on more than one occasion. He noted that a letter was sent to both Greenidge and the Alliance for Change leader Kemraj Ramjatan, inviting the two parties to meet and sort out issues regarding the budget. This, he said, was never done. Greenidge failed in his attempt to refute the accusation and instead excused himself from the House. For the Evening News, Alexis Rodney.
Now some news from the courts. A man pleaded not guilty to an unlawful assault charge read to him today in the Georgetown Magistrates Court by Magistrate Alan Wilson. 27-year-old Vinu Saw of Lot 19 Sheriff Street, Georgetown, stood silently as the charges were read to him. It is alleged that on April 7 at South Road, Georgetown, the defendant unlawfully assaulted Stephanie Farah Khan. Defense counsel for the defendant noted that the accused is the owner of Venu's Shoebox in the City Mall. The counsel went on to say that the defendant has no previous convictions or trouble with the law. The matter was adjourned until April 11, when statements will be filed. The newly appointed non-resident Barbadian High Commissioner to Guyana, Robert Morris, today presented his letters of credence to President Donald Ramotar at the office of the President. More in this report.
In accepting and welcoming the newly appointed High Commissioner, President Donald Ramotar said that the two countries have had a friendly relationship since 1969, and he was happy that the relationship was still very much prosperous since they have a lot in common.
I am confident that your appointment, along with the presence of our Consul General in Barbados, will indeed be beneficial as we continue to strive to build on the existing strong ties between our two countries. Please accept my best wishes for a successful tenure and assurances of the full support of the government of Guyana.
The High Commissioner noted that Guyana and Barbados share a long-standing friendship, which was characterized by a shared vision, history, common desires, and a determination to nurture the Caribbean unity. The High Commissioner, Robert Morris, disclosed that he will work tediously to implement programs and initiatives which were agreed upon in agreements in the past.
It is my wish that the special relationship which exists between our two countries will continue to grow and strengthen, and that together we will continue to seize opportunities and collaborate on issues of mutual concern to the benefits of our people. Your Excellency, thank you.
Among the two countries' arrangements was the signing of the agreement for the deepening of bilateral cooperation in 2002. It aims to strengthen the countries' relationship in the areas of trade, investment, marine affairs, tourism, air services, education, agriculture, sports, culture, and youth affairs. For the evening news, Gomati Gagadin.
After a break, you'll hear as a truck plunges into river after the stage of a stelling collapse. That says the evening news. Welcome back. This is the evening news. The stage attached to the Good Hope Pomona stelling reportedly gave way, resulting in an indefinite stalling of operations at the facility and one truck which was attempting to board a vessel being submerged. More on this report.
According to a statement released by the Transport and Harbors Department, the stage collapsed as a loaded cargo truck was being driven onto the MV Cana 1. The vessel plies the Supernam Essequibo route. The incident occurred sometime around 2 hours 15 today. The statement further said that the truck was completely submerged. Eyewitness reports state that the rope which was being used to moor the stelling to the boat was poorly attached, resulting in the stage bouncing back under the weight of the cargo. One businessman lamented that had the rope been properly attached, the incident would not have occurred, and blames the entire incident on the negligence of the crew. Truck driver Anthony Thomas recounted that he was driving out onto the stage when he heard a loud noise, and within minutes the truck was plunging into the Essequibo River. He further stated that he attempted to reverse but was unable to, as there was a huge pileup of vehicles behind him, and he was forced to abandon the vehicle in an effort to save his own life. Meanwhile, owner of the truck Anthony Griffith, along with other businessmen along the Essequibo coast, are already counting their losses. Griffith is calling on the relevant authorities to furnish him with a new truck. Since being on the water for more than 8 hours, the sunken vehicle will have suffered much saltwater damage. The truck was said to be laden with some 225 bags of chicken feed amounting to 10 tons. He's calling on the Transport and Harbors Department to take actions, as well as the Public Works Ministry to conduct a thorough investigation into the matter. Samantha Lane for the Evening News.
Meanwhile, Region 2 Chairman Parmanan Pasod visited the site and assured businessmen that everything possible is being done to retrieve the sunken truck and resume operations as soon as possible. He said that a crane mounted atop a pontoon was sent to the area to salvage the vehicle. He branded the incident unfortunate as he empathized with businessmen and passengers of the stalled vessel. Pasod has since called for crew members aboard such vessels to be properly trained and to be more vigilant in the execution of their duties. The Transport and Harbors Department has expressed regret about the incident, which also sees some 20 vessels being stuck aboard the MV Cana 1. Pregnant women who will be delivering babies at the Georgetown Public Hospital now have the option of having epidural to help reduce their labor pains. More from Gabriela Patram.
Women will have the opportunity to reduce the pain they face during labor, as efforts are currently being made to make epidural available at the Georgetown Public Hospital. As a result, Dr. Jeffrey Berger is rendering assistance to personnel within the labor room and delivery ward to be able to improve the overall services being offered to pregnant women in this respect. While speaking with this newscast on Tuesday afternoon, Dr. Berger noted that pain during labor is not always necessary, and a large portion of women in the world are choosing epidural.
We are providing training for the anesthesia providers, the nurse anesthetists, and the anesthesia team to be able to understand how to deliver safe epidural anesthesia. The OB service, the obstetricians, are also receiving some training and understanding of when it's an okay time and an appropriate time to offer epidural pain relief for women during their labor.
His team that is working at the GPHC to ensure that the policies and procedures are correct and of high standards.
We've done over 8 hours of training, educational training for the staff thus far. We've trialed the procedure on a number of women who've been quite satisfied. I'll be happy to report. And it's our hope that this is really just the beginning. We're hoping to take away from this the opportunity to set goals for making sure that the women in Guyana receive an increasing opportunity for this in future months and years.
The visiting George Washington medical team will depart Guyana on Thursday, and a written report about their visit will be handed to Health Minister and Chief Medical Officer. Here for the evening news, I'm Gabriela Patram.
Meanwhile, a 4-member medical team from the George Washington University in the U.S. is in Guyana to work with the Georgetown Public Hospital on improving its cardiology department. More in this report.
A team from the George Washington University from the U.S. is here in Guyana to conduct a series of lectures and work sessions with the staff of the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, GPHC, in areas of cardiology and obstetrics. Dr. Rachel Berger, who is a cardiologist, is working with the staff of the Heart Institute at the GPHC. She noted that most persons do not pay attention to the health of their hearts, especially women.
We've been working with the Georgetown Hospital and the medical staff there, the medical residents, the GMOs, the different consultants, to try and do some education in cardiology and in women's heart health and pregnancy-related heart disease and other things that surround women's heart health.
She said the personnel at the hospital are very receptive to the training. Additionally, Dr. Berger stated that there are simple things women and men can do to ensure a healthy heart.
We're trying to get the word out to the public about things that you can do to improve your heart health. Things like knowing your numbers, so knowing whether you have hypertension or diabetes or high cholesterol. Encouraging people to go to the doctor and find those things out so that they can begin treatment if they do have those problems. And things like a heart-healthy lifestyle, so exercise, doing at least 30 minutes of physical activity most days of the week, eating a heart-healthy diet, so staying away from the high-salt foods, the high-fat foods, eating a lot of fruits and vegetables and whole grains. So we're trying to get those messages out, both to the population at large and doing some education for the providers here.
The team from the university is on their third visit to Guyana. For the evening news, I'm Gabriela Patram.
More news still ahead. Stay tuned. You're watching Real News. Welcome back. This is the evening news. Back in the courts, Carvin Newman, aged 28, of Lot 135 Victoria Street, Alboystown, Georgetown, was granted bail today by Magistrate Alan Wilson in the Georgetown Magistrates Court after being charged for threatening behavior towards his ex-girlfriend. The defendant pleaded not guilty to the charge after it was read to him by the magistrate. It is alleged that on March 26 at Victoria Street, Alboystown, the accused made use of threatening behavior towards Chantel Niles. The police prosecution had no objections to bail. The defendant was granted bail in a sum of $15,000. He is expected to make another court appearance on April 28. Gaisuku employees represented by the National Association of Agricultural, Commercial and Industrial Employees, NASI, today took to the streets as they protested unpaid salaries. More in this report.
Sugar workers attached to the varying estates and Gaisuku head office
today took to the streets as they protested unpaid salaries in accordance with the Norman MacLean Arbitration Award and Collective Labor Agreement. In the release issued by the National Association of Agricultural, Commercial and Industrial Employees Union, the issue affecting the 137 workers on strike is the result of the laborious battle by NACI to have irregularities in the salary structure rectified. However, just a few hours after the strike actions ensued, the Human Resources Director of Gaisuku, Jairam Pitam, issued a release stating that the strike actions are unofficial and in violation of existing grievance procedures. According to the release, the sugar company contacted the head of NACI, Kenneth Joseph, on Tuesday to confirm whether industrial actions would be taken today, as he responded in the negative. While maintaining that the operations of the sugar company did not suffer any significant blows as a result of the industrial action, Pitam noted that the sugar company could not meet the demands of the union. Leroy Bedell reporting for the Evening News.
Alwinston Harry, aged 35, of Lot 35, Norton Street, Wortmanville, had all the charges dropped against him when he appeared before Magistrate Alan Wilson. Harry pleaded not guilty to the charges after they were read to him by the magistrate. It is alleged that on April 7 at Lot 44 Norton Street, Wortmanville, the defendant used threatening language to his father, Winston Harry, thereby occasioning a breach of the peace. During the court proceedings, the virtual complainant and the father of the defendant decided not to proceed with the matter. The virtual complainant went on to say that he would not drop the charges as long as the defendant moves from the current address where the virtual complainant lives. The defendant was placed on a bond to keep the peace of good behavior for 6 months. In case you've just joined us, you're watching the Evening News. Stay tuned for sport, sponsored by Macor. Welcome back. Now for a look at sport, but first, the headlines. Beaton looking to light up Limacol CPL. Kent Crofton is Limacol CPL pitch and field consultant, and Boxing Board President calls for better management of fighters. Of course, our sportcast comes to you the kind compliments of Macor.
Macor, let's build Guyana together.
Welcome back. Now for the details. We start off with some cricket news. St. Lucian Kent Crofton, widely regarded as the Caribbean's leading curator, has been assigned as pitch and field consultant to the Limacol Caribbean Premier League 2014 tournament. In making the announcement, CPL Director of Cricket Operations Michael Hall confirmed that Crofton was the right man for the job, which has been created in an effort to improve the overall pitch and outfield quality for the tournament and to allow for the transfer of his knowledge to curators across the region. Hall also announced the creation of a cash award for the ground staff who are judged to have produced the best pitches and outfields during the competition. The Limacol CPL, the biggest party in sport, is set to return in July and August of this year, with the Jamaican Tallawahs set to defend their title against last year's runner-up, the Guyana Amazon Warriors, Barbados Tridents, Antigua Hawks Bells, the St. Lucia Zooks, and the Trinidad and Tobago Red Steel. Meanwhile, the talented Guyana and West Indies A-team fast bowler Runsford Beaton says his inclusion in the Guyana Amazon Warriors lineup for the second Limacol Caribbean Premier League could not have come at a better time. Rajiv Wisnot spoke with him today and filed this report.
Beaton, who hails from the village of Reliance on the Essequibo coast, will be turning out for the Guyana Amazon Warriors and is among 5 newcomers in the Warriors lineup. The 21-year-old, who had pulled out from last year's edition due to injury, has joined the aggressive New Zealand all-rounder Corey Anderson, Trinidad and Tobago fast-bowling all-rounder Marvin Stewart, and batsmen Robin Bacchus and Leon Johnson as the newcomers in the 15-member squad selected by the franchise at last Thursday's draft in Jamaica. During an exclusive interview on Wednesday from the Windjammer Hotel, Beaton says he's definitely looking forward to the Limacol CPL and thinks it is a great opportunity for his personal development.
I think it's another opportunity for me to showcase my talent. Unfortunately, last year, injury had a better part of me, but hopefully this year I don't get injured, and looking forward for the series CPL. I'm positive that put my best foot forward and do what I normally do.
The Warriors will boost a strong team, and Beaton believes the team possesses the ability to go all the way in the tournament.
I think it's a good team, a balanced team. I think about 3 new guys in the team, so it didn't change as much as I think people would guess it would change. But I think it's a well-balanced team, and we should be able to win this tournament.
The Guyana franchise will be coached by former West Indies off-spinner Roger Harper, with former West Indies fast bowler Courtney Ambrose appointed the team's mentor. All-rounder Corey Anderson is Guyana international franchise star, while Pakistan all-rounder Mohammad Hafiz and New Zealand opening batsman Martin Guptill are the other 2 international stars. They will be joined by a group of regional stars, including Trinidad and Tobago's Navin Short, Lionel Simmons, Dinesh Ramdin, West Indies franchise player Sunil Narain, and Jamaica's Krishmar Santoki. The other players selected in the Guyana franchise are Guyanese Christopher Barnwell, Versamy Pramod, Stephen Jacobs, Leon Johnson, Robin Bacchus, and Trevor Griffith. Apart from the 15 players chosen by the 6 franchises at Thursday's draft, 4 other 19 players will be added to the squads.
Finally, some boxing news. President of the Guyana Boxing Board of Control, Peter Abdul, has issued a call for better management of fighters if Guyana is to consistently produce world-class boxers. He made a comment while lauding Dog Pound for taking in several boxers on its wings and creating opportunities for them. More in this report. Speaking at a press briefing at his office on Tuesday, Abdul said it is imperative that boxers are properly managed, thereby affording Guyana the opportunity of producing fighters who can hold their own and even overcome the champions of the day.
I was particularly unhappy with the fact that many fighters sign with various managers and promoters and so on. And some of them will actually sit in a vacuum. Fights are not found for them. They have no visible means of support. And that fighter can't go forward. And there's only a short window in boxing in which you can come to the fore. So I imposed on these gentlemen who are essentially from a different discipline, squash, and said to them, look, I want you all to try and form an organization and try and bring some fighters on board with the intent of supporting them, understanding that it's not going to be an easy process, it's going to be long. You might lose somebody in the front.
Abdul reasoned that promoters and or managers must be prepared for the long haul, as there will be difficult periods in the process. It is against this backdrop that he lauded Dog Pound, headed by the former presidents of the Guyana Squash Association, Ronald Burt Smith and Andrew Arjun, for their involvement in boxing and being able to keep their boxers active. Just Monday last, Dog Pound was successful in signing Clive the Punisher Atwell for a world title fight against Mexico's Johnny Gonzalez for the WBC featherweight belt on May 24, something Abdul believes is extremely commendable.
I have always argued that Guyana has an unbelievable pool of natural boxing talent in this country. It's just incredible. The problem is that you need to take them and you need to make sure that they're properly nurtured to the point where they become world champions. This is actually proof of it. So I want to thank them. I think they've done a great job. I know there have been many opportunities to walk away, especially in the face of losing money. Besides Clive, one of the fighters is also Dexter Marks. Dexter Marks fought just an incredible fight the other night. His talent is very clear, it is clean. Whatever his situation is, we are going to have to find a way, and we all are going to have to fight hard to take people of that quality to another level altogether.
Abdul, who is also president of the Caribbean Boxing Federation, related that support from the funds, like sponsorship from corporate entities, is critical to the sustenance of the sport.
I have long worried, and I think a lot of other sports people do as well, that our society is changing. That if you have an opportunity to go to an event in which they're selling alcohol cheaply, as opposed to coming to support an event where youngsters are trying to make a name in sport, invariably I find that our society is tending to go towards the alcohol and the drinks and the entertainment, as opposed to supporting our young sports people. This needs to change, it really does.
Since his elevation to president of the Guyana Boxing Board of Control, Abdul has been successful in launching and maintaining the Guyana Friday Night Boxing card, held once monthly and showcasing local and regional talents. And with that, we have come to the end of sport, which was sponsored by MarkCorp. Of course, you can find these and many more stories in tomorrow's edition of the Guyana Times. And here's an invitation to join us on TVG Channel 28 and on Radio Guyana Inc. 89.3 in Essequibo, 89.5 in Georgetown Environs, and 89.7 in Berbice and in Unicary, Suriname. Stay tuned. Your bridge reports on the other side.
ARCON, let's build Guyana together.
Welcome back to the evening news. Now for a look at your bridge reports. The Damrar Harbour Bridge will be closed on Thursday, April 10 at 11 hours 30 for a period of 1.5 hours. And the Berbice River Bridge will be closed on Thursday, April 10 at 12 hours 50 for a period of 1.5 hours. And with that, we've come to the end of the evening news for Wednesday, April 9, 2014. I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching.